Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you so much for tuning in to this, my number 25, my 25th Waaay Out Wednesday video series. So I've done 25 of these, and you can find them on my main YouTube channel. If you just click on the icon or the logo, it'll take you there, and you can go to playlist, and you can see all of them. There's a lot of really interesting videos there. If you're enjoying this content, please consider just hitting the subscribe button. It's free. This content is free for you. So I hope you'll join us and subscribe so that you can tune in every time I have a video. So today we're going to be talking about our subconscious. Now, when I say we're, what I really mean is me, along with my spirit guides or the guidance that I'm receiving during this broadcast. So I am a direct channel. I'm channeling this message to you. I can do this in a sort of way that about 40% of me is the Susan, the human version of this, and 60% of this is not me, is the spirit guides or the higher entity that is speaking to us through my spirit guides. So the guides want to talk about subconscious today because it's extremely important for human development. That's what they just said. So this video may not be that way out there as some of my others, but I guarantee you this. Every time I do a video, my passion, my goal, and certainly my intention is to leave you with more information and hopefully empower you in some way. A lot of these topics are going to be what I'm going to be doing as far as these topics is sort of a beginner's setting you in motion to learn more if you want to. So I encourage you to go out and find more information about this topic. Always, always try things on for size. If you feel that it's resonant with you and your energy, keep it. If it doesn't feel resonant with you and your energy, set it aside and look for another teacher or information source. Okay, so let's talk about our subconscious and why it's so important. They also want to talk about the fact that humans, we think that we are only who we are, Susan, the psychic medium, right? So that's my human identity. You may think I'm a mother, I'm a father, I'm an aunt, an uncle, I'm a this in my profession, I'm a that in my profession, I'm a homeowner, I'm a renter, I'm an enthusiast, I'm a hobbyist in this part of my life. Yes, that's all true. That is your human identity, okay? So they want to talk about, for some reason, who you are when you sleep. So when we're asleep, when humans are sleeping, our subconscious oftentimes takes a walk, takes a little jaunt through the astral plane neighborhood. Now, the things that I'm talking about always, I haven't done any preparation. I've not read a book. I haven't even read an article. Literally, I'm telling you what they're telling me. Now, this is important, they're saying, because humans are very active in their sleep. We often are astral traveling. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and you think, God, I slept, 8 hours, but I'm really tired, right? You have this sense of having worked in your sleep. You may have dreams where you're doing something and you wake up and you think, gosh, I wish I could remember what I was doing, but I was really busy, right? Or you may even have dreams where you were somewhere else. Okay. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, or I should say they're bringing this up at this time, is because we've talked about this a lot on my channel. The veil between the worlds is separating. So there was a veil, there is a veil that is meant to give Earth its own experience, right? So that Earth could have, for the most part, its own experiences within our Earth ecosystem. Now, of course, you and I know that some things break the veil, right? Ghosts are earthbound and they never leave, but spirits, people that have crossed the veil to visit you. We all know that aliens, UFOs, they cross the veil to visit us. So it's not that the veil is impenetrable. Mediums cross the veil every time you're doing a reading for somebody and bringing in their crossed over, their deceased loved one. Medium's consciousness is crossing the veil. The difference is that we're doing this consciously. I'm consciously intending to cross the veil to go talk to that loved one. Okay? So this is the difference between conscious and unconscious. What the guides want to talk about is what you're doing in your unconscious. Where are you going? What are you working on? And they want to say that that has import. It has meaning for your physical human life as well. As above, so below. In this case, as is in the 3D, if you will, life of a human, there's another dimension in which many of us are participating in without our conscious knowledge. Now, it's important, the guides are saying, it's important for us humans to know what is happening in our subconscious for a multitude of reasons. Let's start with something very human, which is we hold many fears and grief and doubts in our subconscious. We don't consciously think about them. We're not consciously aware of them. These things become blocks, energetic blocks in our daily human life. So it would be worthy of us to dive into our subconscious and find out what is hidden there. What are we not paying attention to? What are we allowing to direct or even forestall or ruin our lives simply because we won't look at it, we won't accept it, we won't deal with it? So I think in this video, they're talking about not only our subconscious taking a walkabout when we're sleeping and astral traveling, but they're also talking about our subconscious in our daily awakening life and how that's truly affecting us. So to start with that part of this scenario, they would suggest that we do what we can. So you can do this through hypnosis. You can do this through so many ways. You can simply take a deck of oracle cards or tarot cards and say, what is blocking me in my subconscious that I'm not aware of? And while you're shuffling, you can ask that question, what is blocking me in my subconscious that I'm not aware of, right? And you can pull a card and see what it is, right? And then that can give you some idea. Now you need to understand that if you get a card about that makes no sense, like the word peace, right? Like, how can this be blocking me in my subconscious? Well, perhaps this can be advice. It can be something you need to let go of. Maybe I need more peace in my subconscious. Maybe subconsciously I'm worrying too much, and I could benefit from really bringing my subconscious into my consciousness and then doing meditation where I integrate those two things and I bring all of my energy to a place of peace. So if you're outwardly going through your life and you're, working through issues and you're facing problems and you're dealing with things, yet for some reason things aren't working for you, or every time you face something, it never seems to get fixed, and you're seeing repeating patterns in your life, that you can connect the dots to, I can guarantee you the problem is not in your waking consciousness, it's in your subconscious. So finding out what's in there, what fears, what blocks, what grief, what insecurities, that's the key to everything you want. Everything you want in this life. If you're not achieving it, yet you're trying to achieve it, the problem is in your subconscious. And that's where you can find it. So you can go into hypnosis, you can get a hypnosis done, you can pull some cards, you can go into a meditation yourself, and you can say, I want to know what is blocking me, what are my insecurities. Another thing that really works, and it's very simple. See, you don't have to have money to do this stuff. All you have to have is time and the willingness to do it and the openness to allow. Because if it's in your subconscious, you're not aware of it. There's a reason you're not aware of it. There's a reason that your conscious has put it in a room and locked the door and thrown away the key. Because your consciousness doesn't want to feel that grief or doesn't want to acknowledge those insecurities. So this isn't going to be the easiest thing you've ever done, but it's not impossible by a long shot. It's very, very possible. So one of the things that I'm very fond of doing, because it works, and this is really good to get you tuned up psychically. So if you were to do psychic work, psychic readings and psychic energy comes to you through your subconscious. It doesn't go through your thinking brain. Your thinking brain is great for driving a car, for showing up to work, for paying the water bill. But your thinking brain does not work, does not compute when it comes to psychic abilities. It just doesn't handle that kind of communication. It can't. So what do we use? Our imagination and our subconscious. So by doing this practice I'm about to tell you, you can actually not only find out what's in your subconscious and what's blocking you or stopping you, but you can also find out how to use your subconscious more regularly to do readings for yourself and others. So the simple exercise is this: write down and go ahead and grab a paper or your phone or something, because it's better if you don't know what I'm about to tell you and you just do the exercise. If you don't have paper or a phone and you're driving or something like that, say it out loud and then repeat it so that you remember it. So here's the key. The key is you cannot think about the answer. Remember what I just said. Thinking, no go. Not going to work. You're not going to think your way out of this problem. So what are 3 things that you are afraid of? Really quickly. 1, 2, 3. I don't care if it's bees, wood, and fire. I don't care if it's tacos. I don't care. 3 things you're afraid of. Boom, boom, boom. You're not making sense of it. This is another thing. If you try to make sense of it, you're going to get thrown off. And again, you're going to be wrong, because our thinking brain is going to try to make some kind of sense of this immediately. We need to kind of get this information, and then we need to sit with it for a little bit. Okay. Because you might get the information that you're afraid of water. And you're like, that doesn't make any sense. That's wrong. I'm sure that's wrong. That could be from a past life. It's not wrong at all. If you thought water, that is your answer. It's not wrong. Step 2, you have to trust what you get. So now name 3 insecurities that you have. What are you insecure about? Judgment, hate, being wrong, your physical appearance, your intelligence. What is it? Write it down or state it out loud. 3 things you have insecurities about. Now, what is one thing that would surprise you if you knew about yourself? write the first thing that comes to your mind. What is one thing that would surprise you if you knew it about yourself? Write it down. This stuff works. I'm not kidding you. It really does work. If you'll do the exercise and you'll train yourself to write down the very first thing that comes to your mind. You can also train yourself by doing exercises like this. Name 5 colors. Name 5 male names. Name 5 states. And I'm doing this fast because you got to go fast. I want you to set the timer on your clock, your watch, whatever. And I want you to do this in like 10 seconds or less, like 5 seconds. 5 seconds to name 5 colors. The less amount of time that you allow yourself to complete this, the more you know it's coming from your subconscious. And then if you want to take this to a next level, take those 5 colors and understand, Google, what is the energy of this color? What is the energy of this color? What is the meaning of this color? Find out what the meanings are to all those colors, because you named 5 colors for a reason. Your subconscious wanted those, has some connection to those 5 colors. And the energy from those 5 colors can give you a clue as to what's going on in your subconscious. So these are some really quick and easy ways that don't cost any money to start diving in to the subconscious. Now, some people call this the shadow, which is fine too. We're human. None of us are perfect. None of us are perfect, okay? So, of course, parts of us are going to be less than, or things that we would like to be better at, or maybe things that we would like to heal. So you always want to approach this work in a gentle and loving manner, not in a judgmental manner. If you find out that your insecurities are respect, success, and abundance, let's just say those 3 were your insecurities. So your thinking mind is going to be like this. So you mean to tell me that I've been working for 50-something years to be respected and to get abundance, and you have insecurities about this, and you've been blocking me, right? So that's very judgmental, right? That's not going to get a good response. You're not going to get to the bottom of why you have these insecurities if you attack yourself. It's not going to work. It's actually going to cause a bigger block. So if you find out, and undoubtedly, you're going to find out something that is a little surprising. Like, how can I be afraid of success? I'm very successful. Susan, I'm a PhD. I'm a rocket scientist. I'm a whatever. I'm very successful. Okay, well, then congratulations on that, first of all. But you have an insecurity around success that you have had to overcome time and again. If you will examine your path to being a rocket scientist, you'll probably find there were many times when nobody believed in you and you had to believe in yourself, or when you had to overcome something, or when, even though you're a rocket scientist, you don't feel like you get the respect you deserve. So if you're very successful, but yet you have an insecurity around being successful, it's there. I promise you, it's there. You've overcome it. And congratulations. That's amazing, right? That's truly amazing. But you can find pieces of it still, that energy still in what you're doing. Okay. Now, if you have a block or you have insecurities around success and you've never achieved success, how do you go about fixing that, right? The $1 million question. Okay, great. I know I have this insecurity. How do I fix the insecurity? Well, that's when you have to spend more time in your subconscious. Because remember, the brain wants to just say, snap out of it, Susan. Let's get with the program. What's wrong with you, right? That doesn't work, folks. It doesn't work. It's hidden for a reason. It's buried for a reason. That reason is typically that when you were a child, you said, I'm going to be a rocket scientist. And somebody, perhaps somebody from your family, maybe even, God forbid, a teacher or even a fellow peer started laughing because in their world, they had very limited viewpoints about what people could be. And despite the fact that you were smart, they rubber stamped you with that judgment. Many times our parents just can't imagine that you're going to be anything bigger or better than anybody else in the family. And that holds us back. So how you would overcome that is you would start to have a dialogue with yourself. When you're talking to yourself, your subconscious is listening. That's why it's really a bad idea to be self-critical or judgmental about yourself. When you're judgmental and critical about yourself, you're just adding block onto block onto, you're just digging your own hole that you're going to be in. That's going to be much harder to climb out of. So the first thing we want to do is we want to turn it around and say, you know what? I can do this. At first you're just going to say the words, and you're going to say the words until you believe the words. I can be successful. I am successful. And you want to know why. And I'm talking to myself, right? When you do this work, you're talking to yourself. And you want to know why, Susan? Because you did this, which was really successful. And then remember, oh, you did this, which was successful. Remind yourself of the things that you overcame in your life that are pertinent to the insecurity that's in your subconscious. So I'm going to remind myself of every success I've ever had as a way to prove to my thinking mind and my subconscious, I can be successful. I've done it. I've proven it to myself, right? And you can do this with everything. And you can obviously go online and dive right into this subject and get all the help you need. Once you've done your kind of theoretical spring cleaning of your subconscious, I kind of picture us having rooms. If you think about your consciousness being a house, and you think about your consciousness, your waking consciousness being the house, the part of the house that you use all the time. Maybe that's the living room and the kitchen and the bedroom. Well, this house has a basement and an attic and 3 other bedrooms, but we didn't like what was in there. So we bolted every one of those doors shut. And in my case, I nailed it shut, right? I'm not going in that room. That's where I put all the stuff I don't want to know. That's where I'll put all the stuff that scares the bedickens out of me. I'm not going in there. Nobody's going to make me either. Guess what? It's affecting you. It's literally 100% affecting you in your current waking moments in your physical life. So it's absolutely critical, important that you go into your subconscious and try to discern where you have hurts. Where have you been hurt? Where have you been denigrated? Where have somebody disrespected you? And this is not about getting caught up in them. Believe me, that's not going to help anything, right? So what? This person hurt you. Yes, acknowledge, validate. Okay. But the real work is here. When we spend our time being mad at them for hurting us, we're just throwing another log on the fire of all the blocks inside of you. So what we want to do is we want to, first of all, go inside of us and say, and you do this the way I'm doing it right now, as you say, okay, Susan, I forgive you. I forgive you for all of that. Whatever that was that happened with that person, I forgive you. You did the best you could. You didn't know any better. Now, you might say, why in the heck am I forgiving myself? Because we blame ourselves. I should have known better. I should have known better. I should have listened to my friends. I should have listened to my parents, blah, blah, blah. I should have. The first thing you do is forgive yourself and be gentle and have compassion for yourself. Okay. So that's how you start working all this out and bringing all of those hurts out into the open and healing them. So then all of your power is back in you so that you can do what you need to do in this life. Now, let's talk about astral travel. Let's talk about what are we doing when we're asleep? Why are we even doing anything? Why shouldn't we just be asleep? Well, you know, our consciousness is alive. It's a living energy. And it doesn't need physical sleep the way the human body does. It doesn't need that. It's constantly able to be interacting with energy. So when we're asleep, our consciousness, our subconsciousness is free to leave the body, right? It's free to leave the body. So we may be doing things like going across the veil, or sometime maybe we'll have a better description for this, but we're going to be going to our soul group. We're going to be meeting up with our spirit guides. We're going to be meeting up with our higher self, right? We're going to be getting information. Okay, what does Susan need to know? She's doing this in her waking life. How is that working out? What can I tell her? What can I give her? What guidance can I give her? Now, can you see by the first half of this video, if you'll work on that part of you and clear it out so that you can get that connection to your subconscious, you can see now how helpful it is. Because before, you had the door locked. So that when you're astral traveling and your consciousness is getting this good information, guidance from your higher self, and then coming back with it, it can't get to you because the door is locked. So you're not getting guidance. You're not integrating. You're not integrating your consciousness and your subconsciousness. You're separate. And when you're separate, you're not nearly as powerful or successful or happy or peaceful as you are when you're integrated. So by doing the work to clear up the human part of your life that has caused you to disavow or disconnect or block some of your experiences, by doing that work, once that's cleared up, oh, wow. Well, now when you're astral plane traveling and you have an amazing experience with your higher self, or even with creator consciousness, or, you know, good aliens, or whatever it is that you want to interact with, you're going to bring that right back to the waking part of Susan. And Susan's going to be able to say, oh my gosh, I had this amazing dream where I was blah, blah, blah. And I really feel like it's a message and I can implement it into my life in this way. Right? It's a game changer, you guys. This is how you literally can change everything about your life. Truly. And make it much more fulfilling, because you're going to be more on your soul's path if you can get the guidance about where you're not on your soul's path. And it all starts with clearing out the blocks and also raising your vibration. So raising your vibration is just not that hard. None of this stuff is hard. It does require that you look at some kind of nasty bits about your past that you don't want to look at. You know, it does require you to say, gosh, I was really hurt by that person. I was really hurt, let down. I felt abandoned. It requires you to feel it again. That's the reason why it's locked in that room. We don't want to feel it again. But the key is to feel it, work through it, release it. That raises your vibration. Being kind and gentle and empathic to yourself raises your vibration. Having compassion to that part of you that went through that terrible experience. Cry it out, write it out, anger it out, whatever you got to do. Acknowledge it, feel it, really feel it, and then say, okay, I'm transmuting this to light. I'm forgiving myself. I'm forgiving them, because if I don't forgive them, I'm not forgiving myself. I'm not saying that they're saints. I'm not saying that they didn't do anything bad. Of course they did something bad. They can be assholes, but I'm going to forgive them for being one. I'm going to forgive myself. I'm going to clear the game board. I'm not going to keep all these hurts and sadness and accusations and anger and victimhood. I'm not going to keep that on my game board. I'm going to clear it. I'm going to start fresh. And I'm going to take this walk step in step with my guides, because I'm going to be able to get that guidance much easier now that I've cleared the blocks, or the majority of them, and I've raised my vibration. So you might say, well, I get dreams, or I have astral planed, I have astral walked, I've done all that. Does that mean I don't have blocks? No, it doesn't quite mean that. Listen, they're showing me, now that's not nice. What they just showed me was, they showed me a very crowded room. One might call it a hoarding situation, where there's boxes and things piled everywhere. Okay. Now, one thing that you can do, they do not suggest this, but this is something that you can do. You can clear a path through that room. Now, you've cleared a path so that you can get the guidance, right? But there's still a lot of blocks in there. You're not going to get the clearest guidance. You're not going to get the full effect of the guidance, because the guidance has to come through this little path that you created by clearing out some of the blocks. So you can be a person who is psychic, or who does readings, or who gets guidance, or who astral travels at night and remembers all of it, and still have some work to do in your subconscious. Just imagine that if you're already doing this work, how much more vibrant, how much more mystical and amazing it could be if you went and created a little bigger pathway for the guidance to come through. So this is some ways that hopefully it's been very clear, it's been very clear cut, how you can start to address these issues. Also, what you're going to benefit from if you do address the issues. Now, some of you, and there's no shame in any of this, because there's no shame in the game, period. It's helpful to have a therapist. It's helpful to have somebody who's neutral, you can just get this stuff off of your chest, throw it out, and get rid of it. It's sort of like spring cleaning again. When you go to that storage, that one bedroom, you know which one we're talking about, where everything is shoved in there, that one closet where everything is shoved in there, and you open it up and you take everything out and you throw it on the floor, and now everything is a bigger mess, but at least it's out of the closet. At least you can see clearly, oh, that's where that's been all these years. I didn't know, right? Going to a therapist can give you this kind of ability to get it out of you and allow someone who's neutral to help you pick through those things, to say, I think you might want to look at this. You may want to keep this. This you may want to work on discarding and letting go. So there's lots of tools here for you. If you can't afford a therapist, or you don't want to go to a therapist, you can do this on your own. We already gave you a bunch of ways to do that. Work through all these things as you can, as long as you have compassion for yourself. And, when you find out something about yourself that, let's say, you are afraid of money. I mean, money's a really big deal, right? Actually, money's a really good topic for us to talk about, because people have really messed up ideas about money that they don't know that they have. You may have deeply buried in you that having a lot of money equals being a rich aristocrat jerk. You may have a hidden idea about money in your own energy that says, I'm never going to have it. That idea could have come from your parents or your grandparents, or the time that you grew up within wherever you grew up, that maybe there was a hardship. Maybe money was hard to come by. But it can also come from the personality that you chose when you incarnated. Because we wanted to come here and we wanted to learn the lesson about abundance. So before you incarnated here, you said, yeah, I'm gonna pick this personality. This ought to be a real humdinger for me to overcome these things that I need to overcome. We didn't come down here to just stand in line and get our little soul passport stamped and go to the next existence. This is not Earth, folks. We came down here to struggle, to learn. We wanted to make it a class, a lesson. You know, you don't go to school and the teachers say, here's all the answers. Thanks. Have a good day. You know, that's not it, right? So we choose personalities specifically based on the lessons we want to learn. So you could have chosen a personality that had a lack of victimhood, an idea of money is bad, money is filthy, dirty, or money is something that I'm not ever going to have. And then you could have put the cherry on top of that whole scenario by choosing parents that added to that reinforced that personality template that you came into this life with. So now you've got your personality and you got your parents basically saying, yes, you're right. You're never going to have money because you have to work really, really hard to have money. And we're workers. We're not rocket scientists. We're never going to have money. It's just get over that. You're too big for your britches. Get over that crazy thinking. I'm trying to save you heartache. You know, parents often do this because they think they're trying to save us from being let down. So they pass along their limiting beliefs to us. So in your subconscious, you could have lodged in there something about money is not good. You could also have something in your subconscious in there that says, I am not safe. I do not want to be seen. Now that might manifest in your physical body by either A, you being a very quiet person who never speaks up and doesn't ask for anything. Or it could manifest in your body of you putting on a lot of physical weight, becoming heavier and heavier so that no one will see you. It could manifest in your body, your physical life, that you always wear drab colors, or you just have a sort of a demeanor that you just want to be a little mouse, a little church mouse, because subconsciously you got the message when you were younger. And this could have been a real message. You could have been unsafe. I'm not saying any of this is made up. I'm saying this is real. It doesn't matter how it got into your brain, into your subconscious. You have to treat it as it's real. You cannot dismiss any of this. This is all real. So you have it in your mind, in your subconscious, that you're not safe. And so that everything on the outward projects what your subconscious thinks. But we don't see it that way. We do not see it. But you can see your subconscious screaming its voice out in your life. If you look, you can also see your subconscious making a play for you to tackle the problem that's lodged there. Because if you're in your subconscious, you have this idea that you're not safe and that people take advantage of you. How many people in your life can you point to that have taken advantage of you? So if you see a pattern in your life, well, at work, I'm taken advantage of, my kids take advantage of me, my spouse takes advantage of me, you know what? Even my cat takes advantage of me. Then I promise you, in your subconscious, there's a kind of a written script that says, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy of respect. I'm not worthy of getting anything that I want. So once you fix it in your subconscious, by stating, I am worthy. Another really good tip, look in a mirror. Louise Hay, if you don't know her, oh my God, the mother of metaphysics, if you ask me, in many ways, she developed this system called mirror work, and it does work. I promise you it works. All you do, and I say all, it's not the easiest thing, you look in a mirror. You're looking at yourself in your eyes, and you say, I love you. You are worthy. You are safe. You are lovable. You are successful. You are abundant. You operate with the same vibration as money, as abundance. If you can look at yourself and say those things, rock on. Many times it's hard. You kind of have to like saddle up to it. Like, you're pretty, or, you're nice, do what you have to do. If you can't look at the mirror and say those things, do what you can. Look to the side and say it. I don't care if you look at it and laugh or smile. That's okay. But the goal is to look in the mirror and say your insecurities. I am lovable. I am safe. I am healthy. I am abundant. Money is safe for me. Food is nutritious, right? I am worthy of respect. I am smart. I am healthy. If you'll do that every day, how long did that take? 10 seconds? If you'll do that every day, I can pretty much guarantee you, because it's done it for me, it's done it for my clients, that will be a game changer, that your vibration will shoot up through the roof. Now, what does that do? It allows you to get guidance easier and quicker. What does that do? Make your life better. It's all there for you. This is all there for you. There's nobody, zero, nobody that this is not for. It's for everyone. Everyone. You can be homeless and or experiencing houselessness or whatever it is that people say, and use these things to turn yourself around and turn your life around. We oftentimes let other people, other societal, values, or other people tell us more about ourselves than we tell ourselves about ourselves. This is standing in your power, bringing your energy and integrating it with your subconscious energy, and then integrating all of that with compassion and love and light. And then you're grounded, you're centered, you're calm, and you will be healthier and happier. And when people say things that don't resonate, like, you're not as smart as you think you are, or you think you have a lot of money, but I have more, or you're never going to get that house you want. Those demeaning, terrible things that people can say, it's not going to resonate. You're not that. It's like you've just grown a shield around yourself. This, you're going to be like, what? What are you even talking about? why are you even caring about what I'm doing? Maybe you should think about what you're doing, because I'm doing fine. Thank you. And you walk away with everything still intact. And even if that made a dent, even if you think, ooh, wow, ooh, that kind of hurt, then that's an indication that you've got a little couple of extra boxes in that room that you might need to go through. You've got a couple of extra boxes around whatever that person said to you that you felt kind of twang your energy. It just means I've got a little bit more work to do. Thank you. Hey, run back. Hey, thanks. Thanks for telling me that, because I didn't realize I needed to do a little bit more work around that. I just wanted to say thank you. Now, isn't that turning it around? Right? Isn't that turning the energy around? You're grateful for the insult because you're like, well, I'll be. Well, hey, thanks, man. You're right. You're right. Never mind. I'll tell you later, but I got some work to do. You're going to go back and find out, why did that have resonance? Okay, I've got a little bit of, there's still a little residual or another little box I need to open up, so to speak, and go through in my subconscious to figure out why that hurt. Okay. So this has been a lot. This has been kind of a teaching Way Out Wednesday, which most of them are. Let's just call it what it is, right? They got me doing this gig to teach people. And they're really, really, I say they, of course, I mean my spirit guides, whom I'm grateful for. And all of this is stuff, most of this is stuff I've done myself. And it works. So when you're astral traveling, I know some of you guys really just want the juicy stuff. When you're astral traveling, again, if you have the bandwidth, which means if you have the vibrational bandwidth is what they want to talk about. How do I explain that? Right. Okay. So our vibration can be full. Again, go back to the house analogy. If your vibration is full of junk that you've hidden, you're not aware of, but your vibration is still full of the junk. Okay. It just is. If you've got a lot of stuff that you're not facing, that you've buried, it's clogging up your vibrational bandwidth. By clearing that vibrational bandwidth up quite a bit, then you've got the space to go out at night and experience all kinds of things. You can have a completely different life when you're asleep and or when you're meditating, because this can also happen when we're meditating. When we're meditating, that's when our subconscious can also go out and play. Another time when the subconscious is very active is when you're in a coma. If you're ever in a coma, or someone is experiencing Alzheimer's or dementia, your subconscious is not going to just stay in this body, in this inert body is what they want to say, or this prone, lifeless body. It's going to go. It's not going to stay here. It doesn't need to stay here, right? So you can experience some really cool astral travel experiences. You can do remote viewing easier. You'll have more psychic abilities. You can astral plane. What does astral plane mean? Your consciousness leaves the body. It leaves this plane of existence, and it goes to a different plane of existence across the veil, let's just say. So you could go astral plane travel, and again, meet up with your soul group, the group that you're incarnating with here on Earth. And even all of those souls could be currently incarnated, living human lives. And yet you can go across there and meet up with them and say, hey, how are you doing? I'm doing this thing for you where I'm teaching you to be empowered, and you're teaching me how to have boundaries. How are we doing? Right? you can come back into your body and have knowledge of that, have knowledge. Oh my gosh, I think I'm teaching this person how to be empowered, right? That's how you get this information, you guys. Downloads, aha moments, dreams. It's psychic, and it comes to you through your subconscious. So yes, you can astral travel and go to different existences. If you want, you can go to different planes of existence. You can visit other, for lack of any other word, let's use a human word, of civilizations. You can even, they're telling me, go back in time. You can travel timelines. You can go back and forth on your timeline. Now that requires some experience and some, it's serious business, and it requires experience and know-how. But these are things that, given doing the work, you can begin to do. And all of this is getting easier for us, which is another amazing thing. So as the veil thins between the worlds, it's more and more and more important that we know what's going on in our subconscious. Because if we don't know what's going on when we're astral traveling, we could be doing things that we don't want to do. We could be going over there and running with the wrong crowd, so to speak. We could be going down the wrong alley and meet up with the wrong thing, right? Because your subconscious is not connected to your human body. There's no integration. If there was integration, your human body would say, Susan, I would like to experience Giza in, 1910. I'm going to set my intention to go there tonight. Well, then your subconscious is like, okay, let's go. I'm driving the car. Let's do it. But if you just go to sleep and you have abilities, you have a lot of bandwidth, even though it might be kind of junked up, so to speak, you're going to be going places and you're not going to be aware of it. Or you're going to have dreams or even downloads that aren't going to make any sense to you because you're not integrated. Right? So instead of getting guidance that's for Susan, that's for this lifetime, right? For this version of Susan during this lifetime, right now, I could be getting weird things that have nothing to do with me. Well, I don't know about you, but I'd rather get the guidance to help me get through this thing called life right now. So hopefully this has been helpful. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. I always read all the comments. I'm pretty active in the comments, but I can't get to everybody, but I do respond quite often. And I hope you found this an interesting topic, and let me know your experiences. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving me the thumbs up, unless you're watching on the TV, in which case you probably can't do that. And also consider subscribing. If you think somebody that you know would like this video, I would appreciate it if you think about sharing it as well. This has been number 25 of my WOW videos, my acronym for Way Out Wednesdays, which I deliver to you every Wednesday. So thanks for tuning in. Take really good care of yourselves, and we'll see you again right here next Wednesday.